Anyway, let's have a music review, leaving aside that bit of a software instruction for the older person. We turn on the sound. This is my friend's band, or I suppose you could almost call it a music collective, even at this point. Um, the leader of it was at one point my boss. I plead guilty to that, having an interest in it from that reason. Now, I'm going to play a few bits of it because I think it's highly interesting, especially this notes from the moderator version one, where he's done it as basically two themes where they're basically trying to symbolize the fact that we're being told nonsense and moved around politically and moved around on a chessboard in life. And the two themes differ somewhat in the way they sound and the way they're composed. Now, of course, the composer there is obviously trying to give you a sense of it deliberately being unsettling, particularly with that scratchy record sound, particularly uses of the arrangement, the way there's almost a vocal quality underneath it, the kind of odd clanging noises. If I played notes from the moderator too, you could, of course, decide which is the darker, in your opinion. Now, I would tend to agree with John that social media does indeed tend to love moving us around and directing us to talk bollocks. It's a big game that we're all engaging in, a sort of part of a great game. John is almost parodying it here because I notice he's probably used AI to create some of those pictures, which is almost parodying the usage of it to some extent. I'm not going to play everything he has up here because we'd be here for ages, and also I think John would get a bit annoyed from the usage of me sort of playing all his music, but it will give an idea of the kind of things he likes. let's have notes from the Moderator version 2. There's a good bit of unsettling noise in there as well, especially the sort of, again, the clanging noise, the sort of synth loops and sounds that are sort of almost but not quite a voice underneath it all. It's slightly longer. It's up to the listener, of course, to decide which is the darker of the two. And of course, that's our job, of course, with the way we're being moved around, I suspect, to use the internet, which is, I suspect, something John would actually be very suspicious of, as am I, where we have people on the left and right. John was my boss years ago, and we actually have differing political opinions on many things. But one thing we do share is a view that people don't know how to talk to each other anymore or exchange meaningful information, because the actual ability to do so is being lost in Western society. The ability to actually hold a sustained conversation and exchange a sustained burst of information is actually being lost. And instead, we'll all be moved around into a society where we communicate by memes or 3 seconds of information, which is not how you conduct serious conversations or anything serious. You can't do it. Now, John has one more piece of music on here, which I thought was decent. Generally speaking, John has an interest in a lot of rock music and a lot of hard rock, which, of course, this stuff is not. This is more ambient and sort of almost bordering towards prog rocky at times. But I thought this was a great little short piece of music. You can take all sorts of meaning out of the title terminal as well. It can be a station terminal, end of life, end of a phone call. I particularly like the sound at the end, which could be interpreted as all sorts of things. That bleep. It could be the bleep at the end of a phone call. It could be life support going offline. Who knows? But I particularly like the fact that it's almost sort of a chilled, relaxed piece of music. It's almost something I could imagine being from a 1990s sort of high quality Japanese RPG. I hope John doesn't find that comparison too offensive. I could imagine it popping up in Final Fantasy VII for some reason. As what that's definitely not meant as an insult, because Final Fantasy VII is considered to have one of the best soundtracks in the whole of gaming. So that's a compliment. But the use of the piano and the ebow there are interesting. Now, I think that's enough, because if I try and review more than 3 songs, I'll have to do them one by one, and it will take ages. But I think John's got a very interesting little music project going here, and it could deserve some more widespread attention. So even if I get a few more people listening, it would be something.